And just like that, we're back here in JLAB. This was Belgium's second race of the season now. I'm like pretty decent at Belgium, I would say, but I made a mistake setup wise that would fuck me over. But at the moment, I didn't even realize the biggest mistake I've made. And but heading off in the turn one here, this could be a terrible corner. And by the way, there is about I think 17 people racing. Yeah, something like that. 18 maybe. So with a track like this with a few corners that could absolutely kill somebody, this has the potential to be a pretty treacherous race. But here, I just want to bring up, since we just went through a rouge and are hitting a long straight, I just want to bring up the setup mistake I made. Now, when it comes to this track, you relatively want to go to a 4 or a 5, but I really realized quickly, at least for my case, and pretty much what would have benefited me in pretty much every situation I got into this race was going on a 5, and sadly, I went on a 4, and that would prove to be my downfall competing for any good position at the end. But we end up chilling out here. I'll say third for a little bit, but here, like I said, obviously here, DRS, stuff like that, and, slipstream, but Liners and Gregor get past me there, but then we get to lap 6 and we have a red flag. I kind of forgot how this one was caused. I think it was something to do with Kluka getting wrecked, potentially. But that was our first red flag of the day and first caution. But we get ready to go back under green here. And I still, at this point in the race, as Aiden has a horrible jump there. Aiden was just saying he might have the race won because he was actually, I think, going on the hards, potentially, I think. Maybe, I don't know why he was saying he had the race won. I think it was something to do with tire compound being able to make it to the end, but that all kind of got fucked real quick when he jumped to start. Cut the corner here to gain some time as Aiden's already fallen back. Yeah, I believe it was because he went on the hard tire, and that's why I said that. But at this point in the race, as I was saying, I hadn't truly realized the big mistake I had made. And while I was relatively fast through the corners somewhat, it would all the time I'd gain, I would just lose it on any long or decently long straightaway. And I don't know why it took me so long to realize that, yeah, I shouldn't have gone onto a 4. I didn't really realize it until later on in the race, but it's great to take that lesson learned. So for next time around when we go here, I definitely will make sure not to make the same mistake. As look at the closing speed from Logan there. I mean, that was just a little tiny straightaway, and he gained so much time. As a little bit of a netcode accident there. I don't really know. I think he just, well, to be honest, I think he just hit my gearbox. I originally thought he was outside of me on his screen, and that was just a netcode incident, but I think he just hit my gearbox, dropping too hard there. But we end up chilling out here in P6, and then boom, safety car. So now the string of chaos that this race was hyped up to be is turning out to be that way here, as everybody ends up coming to the pit lane. And here's our first double stack incident of the season. A little bit of a wait time there, but we end up, it doesn't really affect us there, but trust me, it'll come in huge later in the race with me and Zach. Zach had a lot of pace in this race, got pole by a lot, had an amazing lap. But we end up going back green here. I end up just chilling at ninth. This is when I start coming to the realization of the setup mistake as Hendrick wrecks there. I was talking and being so keen last video about not being in the further down positions to avoid accidents, but there, that up front, an accident. I mean, anything could happen here in these races, but Hendrick just racing hard up there, got wrecked. Now, apparently he veered back into traffic, so I bet that was a pretty scary experience for everyone involved. But we end up going back green after another safety car. If you count the red flag, yeah, that's like two safety cars, one red flag. So pretty much, I guess you could say 3 green flag racing stoppages in this race as Logan trudges on here. But so far in this race, the race for the lead had been pretty mixed. From what I heard, Zach and Gobin were going at it a lot and having a good race. But We end up just chilling behind Logan here for a bit, and then boom, caution, boom, safety car. Our third one of the day as Isaiah he wrecks out. Um, this is now our third safety car. Combine that with a red flag. That's now 4 race stoppages. So it's just pretty chaos. A lot of it. But here, we all decide to box, and that's where the double stack comes in huge, which I wasn't. I mean, nothing Zach can really do about it there. Zach's racing for the win. I don't have race winning pace in this due to this huge setup mistake I made. We all box for softs. Now, here, heading to the green. Steven says he's going to try to make work of Ricardo in the first corner, which is a good idea. And I'm happy that we're getting rid of the AI as quick as possible. Now, this whole time, I wasn't thinking about what was going on behind me because I hadn't really been a victim of a dive bomb in this race or anything too crazy. I get a 3-second there, I back off, so it won't count. And basically, heading off into turn one here, Steven goes around Ricardo on the outside, playing to the exact, and boom. Dirt absolutely kills me. And that is back to my lesson of try your best to stay in the upper echelon of positions because you really don't know what can happen back here, whether it's a driver skill issue or not. We end up driving back to finish ninth, but still really disappointing from Dirt there. I'll even show a replay here, and that'll come up in a second. It's just kind of disappointing. He apologized. It's okay, but it's just completely frustrating there. I mean, just kind of just a horrible move and just killed me. Absolutely killed me. And at least I was able to drive back into the points, but at the end of the day, nothing we can do. Now, yes, here's where the special part comes in. Special event. We're doing 2 and 1 here. 2 races in 1. This is actually, I don't shed light on qualifying that much, but this is why I am a huge near accident there caused by Dizzy stacking up that causes me and Cadet's first quali lap to be absolutely destroyed. I don't really know what Dizzy was doing there. Not much room to make at this track when it comes to letting off for people and stuff, but at the same time, it's just frustrating. But here, new set of softs. I know I can do way better than what I did on the lap on scuffed softs with little ERS. And I did way better than I thought for a track I'm not too good at here in Netherlands, as I am 3/10 up, nearing 4, heading into these final 2 corners here, setting on 2 purple sectors. And, you know, again, not the best at this track. I'm not horrible, but just not the best. Had never done a league race here, I don't think, a true league race. But we were 5/10 up, and we're actually going to get all the way up to second behind our teammate Zach. And the potential for a McLaren locked out front row is there, and it succeeded, as we're starting 1 and 2 on the grid. And I was honestly pretty shocked I qualified that well. But heading off into this race, I actually thought this would be more chaotic than Belgium. So much winding and bank turns. I just saw the potential for so many wrecks. But heading off into turn 1 here and exiting it, it was a pretty chill start. And Zach kind of pulled away. I was actually kind of happy the start went the way it did, so there wasn't double file racing out of turn 1 or shit could have gotten really wicked. But at the end of lap 1, we already have a VSC. This didn't really surprise me too much. I was kind of expecting it. We end up going back racing. Zag pulling a decent gap by the time lap 4 came around as Griga makes work of the DRS, makes the overtake there. And that is pretty much the main overtaking zone of this track as Griga gets onto the curb there. I fight back for a little bit, give him some hard time, but he's able to maintain second place. Now, I realized that at this track, yes, you can overtake people at multiple parts of the track, but the real best overtaking zone is Griga makes a huge mistake there, losing second and third, falling all the way back down to 4th behind Go Boom, who hasn't been able to finish a race this season after getting DQ'd in Belgium, yes, but looking strong so far as he'd actually passed me here, move up in second position. And at this point, Zach, he was cooking. He's nearly 3 seconds ahead of the field. And we hadn't even really lost that much time battling. He was just genuinely just a really fast car, which is great to see from a teammate. I don't think I've had too much user teammates in JLAB, so it's fun to see that. And boom, VSA. Sucks, but, a good little breather, I guess you could say. Rest the muscles for a little bit, but we're back going green. And when it comes to this track, as I was going, boom, another VSC. Yeah, I think I skipped forward a little bit there, but if you like pit strategy, here it is. Everybody ducks into the pit road here. Quick reaction time. But some stay out. I decide to pit. And here's that double box problem coming up again. But thing is, not that big of a deal. I didn't lose too much time out of this one. Didn't fuck me over too much. And I was able to come out of the pits on a new set of mediums. Now, I doubted they could make it to the end of the race, but you will see soon. I wouldn't even have to end up worrying about that. But so far in this race, we had a lot of VSCs, but no full safety cars, which kind of surprised me. I think even surprised Steven. But we're going back racing here, but we got some people to fight through. Cody and Dirt, as I think maybe that was a safety car. Oh shit! But regardless whether it was or not, race stoppage for a moment. As Dirt, he had wrecked me last race, and there's always that concern there of a person who's wrecked you before if it's going to happen again or if they're going to race as aggressively again. And especially when Dirt's on much older softs, old tires, trying to defend track position. I fake high, go low. Say, let's make use of these new bitches. And we get right past them. Thank God that battle didn't last any longer than it needed to. As I try to catch up to Eric. Eric, really good pace. As he had in Silverstone. Didn't race in Belgium, but he's back for this race and back like he never left. I mean, he has great pace so far in this event. And boom, a safety car. And at this point, as you can see, I'm starting to lose track, as I kind of was a second ago, losing track of the VSCs and safety cars. Is there were a lot of them in this race somewhat, especially a lot of VSCs. Zach says I should come in. I decided to stay on the track, whether it was because of the double stack issue from earlier or the fact that I just didn't want to really be in a position where I could get in a wreck around mid-pack. I didn't really want to risk it, so I decided to keep track position here, as Eric did as well, I believe, yeah. And here, lap 17, this is a crucial point right here I think everybody needs to analyze. Coming to the green, Eric's leading him off, or Dizzy. A lot of stopping and going, as you can see, and it may not seem that crucial up front, but just imagine about 17 other cars trying to manage that while all being on each other's gearboxes, and boom, we had a string of like 3 DNFs in a row with Steven, I think Isaiah, and other people. Just like that, we had a red flag. Apparently, Dizzy's up for potential suspension. My take on it, I don't really know. He didn't really do... It's like he did wrong, but he didn't do too much wrong. But at the same time, I'm not really good at judging penalties when it comes to F1. When it comes to NASCAR, that's my thing. But when it comes to that, but it really is up to Steven on that one, obviously. But red flag restart. We just maintained P3 here for a little bit. I just fucking killed myself when I said here. That's my bad. But heading into this one corner now, this is something I noticed from Small right here. A little bit of a dive bomb attempt. I didn't expect that, as that's not really a good overtaking zone. A kind of a ballsy move from him. It fails miserably, which, I mean, I don't think I've seen anyone ever make a pass like that in that corner that well at all. But we maintain P3 here, and Zach's behind him. I know Zach is probably the fastest, or bare minimum one of the fastest top three cars in the field. So I'm just kind of waiting for him to get past Small here as the leaders up here battle with Grigga and Dizzy. And I was kind of waiting for them to wreck each other. There were some close moments where I thought they would have turned each other. It just didn't end up coming to the fruition, however. And I'm still waiting for Zach to pass Small, and we eventually realized, as I try to make a move on Eric, or Dizzy here, Jesus Christ, I don't even know what to call him anymore. We eventually realized that we thought Small was on a 3, so he'd have more straightaway speed, because on the straightaways he'd catch so much, and it was so confusing. He'd lose a good bit of time through the corners, but gained so much on the straightaway, so we thought it was a 3. Small eventually said after the race he just drained ERS a lot, which I don't know how the hell he got that much ERS, and it definitely needs to be under investigation, because I don't know how the hell he maintained that. But, anyways, lap 28 here, just me maintaining third. And again, up to this point, I was just waiting for Dizzy and Grigor to wreck each other, honestly. It looked like that was going to happen for a time. They were racing real close, real aggressive. So I was expecting it. But then Isaiah retires the car, has an accident. Here, late race safety car. Everybody, except for one, Dizzy, decides to pit for new softs. And a shocking decision. Dizzy kind of sitting in the worst spot ever is being the leader when it comes to NASCAR or F1, being the leader of a safety car in this situation. Everybody ducks behind into the pits, and Dizzy ends up having to come into the next lap. And we here take a 4 lap to go restart with me starting at second. Now, up to this point, I've already well exceeded my own expectations for this race, as like I said, have not had a good history when it comes to racing at this track. I'm not too good here. So a second would thrill me, honestly. A podium would. Trying to keep pace with Grega, but to be honest, Grega he had too much pace at the end of the day. He was just able to ek it out ahead of me. I drained DRS on that straightaway trying to get to him, hoping he would make a mistake, kind of hitting the curb like he did earlier. I was really hoping for that. I fuck up the corner here, and I'm like, you know what? Zach is his championship rival. He needs every point he can get against Grega. We let him have the spot after I fuck up that corner. No reason in slowing me or him up, especially considering Small, a very aggressive car this race, didn't want Zach to potentially lose even more spots. Now, here I'm thinking I have a podium in the bag. All I have to do is just have a decent final few corners here. Small sends it out. I wasn't really expecting too much, but here he just bumps my gearbox out of the way for a second. I thought he wanted to play bumper cars. I don't really know what he was doing. I guess just trying to be too aggressive. And here, it didn't really look too much like it, but he did almost accidentally turn me as cross checker. I kind of just cut him off. Didn't really matter. As Gringa would end up getting his second win of the season. Now, this race, I would say, was pretty good. I would say the best race of the season so far is by far Silverstone. Just an amazing race. But these two races were definitely a thrill to be in. And